is motivation? We all use the word a lot, but I don't think all of us have a clear idea as to what motivation is. We may have some vague idea about what it is, especially when we are talking about our children not being motivated enough to work hard to accomplish goals in their lives, either academic or career or anything else. And if we are in positions to hire as leaders or employers, we use the catchphrase motivation to look for a certain type of individual. But I think when we really need to understand what motivation is, when we need to operationalize this construct within us to achieve something, we are a bit at a loss. I know this because I went through this phase myself. So what is motivation? Let's look at the word motivation itself. I believe the root word of this word motivation is motive. So by virtue of that root word, then we can arrive at the conclusion that motivation has something to do with our reason, our motive for doing everything that we do, for setting out to accomplish something, in other words, our goals, for feeling a certain way, or the why we think the way we do, and the whole spectrum of human behavior, right? Think, feel, act, do, everything, right? So, motive. So that is one way of looking at motivation. In other words, what is our reason for doing, for thinking, for feeling, or for saying things? And we can also look at motivation from the perspective of how others identify us in terms of our motivation. Which level do they put us at in terms of our motivation along the continuum of apathy, no motivation at all, couldn't be bothered, lazy, or further along, and on the other end is a very highly motivated individual. We do that to others. We do stick these labels on others, don't we? But what exactly do we mean when we say these things about others? It's important to understand, because if we don't understand this, how are we going to measure what we don't know, what we cannot define, what we cannot understand? How can we measure? If we can't measure something, then first off, we can't help others become more motivated individuals, and also we can't help our own betterment towards becoming more motivated individuals, right? So when we look at other people and we say, oh, he's really motivated, that's the kind of employee I want in my team if I'm to achieve this team goal, for example, right? Or as a teacher, I often say this about children to their parents, oh, he's really very motivated. What do I mean when I say your child is really very motivated? Good job on raising a high achiever. When I say that, and then parents turn around and ask me, what exactly do you mean? This is how I explain motivation. I use the acronym DIP. Okay, D-I-P, DIP. Now, D stands for direction. someone who has a goal. I stands for intensity. How hard, how intensely committed is this individual to achieving this goal, and hence how diligent, okay, is this individual. And finally, P is persistence. Of course, when we set out to achieve a goal, we are not going to achieve the goal at the first try. There is bound to be trials and tribulations along the way, and we have to continue to work hard, to be committed to this goal, to revisit ourselves, to introspect, identify how we could be better, and we have to keep going at it. So this is how others pin the label motivation, or ideally they should. I guess not everybody does that, but I learned to do this because now that I know this is the definition of motivation, this is what motivation looks like, or this is what a motivated individual looks like. Now I can help the individual becoming, or rather I can help the individual become more directed, become more intense and diligent, and also become more persistent, which is never to give up, right? So that is looking at motivation from one angle. Then, when we are engaged in achieving a goal, for example, like what I said throughout the series of videos that I'm creating, I'm not just talking about physical health, but I use physical health as an example, as a starting point in which you can start applying all of this bits of gold nuggets that I'm sharing with you. Okay, so when we are talking about motivation and physical health, within physical health, I have identified that there are 3 areas that you need to pay attention to in order to achieve your results. In other words, your actions and your goals, right? So the first area is mindset, as we have identified earlier. The second area is the actions that you're going to take, and your actions are subdivided into your activity or exercise or movement. Okay, we'll stick to the term movement, how much you move, right? And the third is eating, so MME. Okay, mindset, movement, and eating. These are the 3 areas in which you have to take action. Yeah, even in your mindset, you have to take action in the sense that you have to work on your mindset, to change your mindset, to remove all the limiting beliefs that has been dumped on you for years and years. Yeah, people with the best intention at heart sometimes do this to us. How do we then motivate ourselves to work on our mindset, to work on movement, and work on re-engineering our eating, right? So this is where the third habit comes in. This third habit is actually under the category mindset, mindset change. So motivation is that small impulse of energy or thought that surfaces at that point of time when you're going to act. Listen carefully, okay? Now this is a very important revelation because I think it does not occur to us. For example, I have set the action goal that I must walk 5 kilometers a day at least 5 times a week, and I have chosen a time for my walk, which is the first thing after I wake up. I have to either go out and walk for 5 kilometers or jump on the treadmill and walk for 5 kilometers. Now, whenever I get out of bed, initially it was so difficult. There was a battle going on inside my head. That would be that inner voice telling me, oh, but it's a cool day. It's a wonderful day to sleep in. Oh, but you were working really late last night. Just sleep. You can do it a little later. And whenever I give in to that voice, I never got around to working on that day. And so I realized this is when I had to create that impulse of energy, or my inner voice, my motivation. This is my motivation. Yeah, I tell myself, this is mindset. I tell myself, I am a person who keeps my promise to myself. Nothing doing. I am not going to sleep in today. I'm going to get up and go change into my sports attire, put on my walking shoes and start walking. You know what? The moment that entire fiasco, the entire dialogue inside my head takes place for only about 2 or 3 minutes. And when I overcome that inertia and I go and put on my sports clothes and either step outside to walk or jump on the treadmill to walk, then the rest is easy. I finish my walk, I enjoy it, and sometimes I want to do more than what I had promised myself. That small impulse of thought is also motivation, and this is the motivation that we need to manipulate in order to be able to execute those actions that we have identified in the second type of goals, which is action goals. Yeah, we have mindset goals. So we use a mindset goal, which is tell yourself, I am a person who keeps my promise to myself. I am a person who is disciplined. Describe yourself to yourself in terms of your character. What kind of character are you? I am a person who is disciplined enough to do things consistently. I am a person who is motivated. I'm a person who is directed by my goals. I'm a person who is very diligent and intense when it comes to my commitment to my goals. I am a person who is persistent. I never ever give up. I will keep going until I achieve my goal. This is the type of motivation that will help you. Okay, this more. So motivation, basically there are 2 types. One is the construct that people use to label individuals. Okay, he's a motivated individual, so he has very high motivation. Now there's the other side of motivation, which is a small impulse of energy, which is a thought that arises in you, and when you can motivate, use this impulse of motivation to overcome the inertia of non-action moment to moment, this is when you win. Because when you keep repeating, as I told you in an earlier video, when you are able to master your own emotion and carry out a certain identified action, be it movement, yeah, in this case walking, or be it eating right, when you're able to master your motivation moment to moment to execute these actions at least 60 times without fail, this new behavior would have become a habit, and you would definitely succeed at your goal. I am, of course, explaining this using the example of improved physical health and fitness, but this applies to every area in your life. And let me leave you with this: the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you learn all of these things with regard to re-engineering your body and achieving a better level of physical health and fitness, you could do it in all the other 7 pillars of life, which are the results areas in your life apart from physical health and fitness. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you find it useful, please click like and subscribe. If you have any questions, type in the comment section. I will answer as soon as I can.